Hey, what is going on YouTube? It is Blue. We're back with another video. We are going to be covering basically some new changes to Berserk, big changes to Berserk, coming in the next expansion, Embers of Neltharion. Now, we are on a PTR discussion forum where Blizzard is going out and kind of saying like, hey, these are what we're changing. We're going to read through these. Very interesting. At the very bottom here, we're going to just read this really quickly. These are the changes. It's not a lot of changes, but the Berserk changes a little bit different to kind of wrap your head around. And then after kind of doing this and kind of discussing this a little bit, we'll just read through here. So changeless, Berserk has been redesigned. Go Berserk for 20 seconds. While Berserk, generate one combo point every 1.5 seconds. And then it says finishing moves restore up to 3 combo point generated over the cap. So basically, we all know that we can finisher a total up to 5 combo points, and we do our finisher. Now, sometimes we may be at our 4th combo point here, and let's say we do a shred. Now, that shred may crit or not. We would never know because we're only getting the 5. Basically, it's saying during Berserk, anything that's happening on excess, it's going to keep track of that excess, and it's going to return that to you, which is very nice. Shred and Rake damage increased by 50%, and then combo point generating abilities generate 1 additional combo point. Okay, to get the picture, I went ahead and I kind of wrote down our notes that I like to visualize it. But basically, we have the old Berserk and we have the new Berserk, and we're going to just kind of compare those together. So they both last 20 seconds. The old Berserk is going to refund 2 combo points on every single finisher, right? Now, the new Berserk, it is not a guaranteed refund because it is only refunding excess, right? So it's going to refund overcapped combo points. So this is sometimes going to generate 1 to 3 additional combo points. So it is very unpredictable, but I would say overall this probably averages out to be about the same, okay? To be about the same. So we will, obviously that is to get a feel for it and to know, but it's probably going to be about the same. So we'll just say that this is equal here. All right, abilities generate 1 additional combo point, okay? Whereas prior, Swipe was the only one that had generated 1 additional combo point. So we got a big win here, okay? So this, everything looked about average. We have a big win here. And then we see Shred and Rake damage on the prior one does it as though it was stealth, which is a 60% increase to those spells, whereas the new one is going to be only a 50% increase. So we are receiving a nerf on that front. It is worth saying, though, that since this new Berserk damage is just kind of like baked in increased damage, you can double dip. So at the very beginning of this poll, you can stealth, and then this Rake is going to be increased by 50 plus another 60% from a stealth Rake. And then if you're also considering running Incarnation, you can sneak into stealth 1 time during combat to also give you that extra 60%, which is kind of neat that we're able to double dip now with this this newer Berserk. So that would be pretty nice. And then we're getting the 1 combo point every 1.5 seconds. So this is just a plain brand new one. This one also kind of ties into why we would get possibly 3 combo points back. With this sometimes generates 1 to 3 combo points. So I'd say overall it is a buff to efficiency as far as getting us through our rotation faster and helping us do our finishers faster. But you're going to see a bit of a nerf along the way to get there through a small nerf to Shred and Rake, right? So basically that's how I feel about that. That's how I'm visualizing this right now is basically, hey, this is going to help us go through our rotation a little bit more efficiently than prior. But it is doing so by reducing the damage that we deal with Shred and Rake, right? It's also worth noting that, hey, a little bit unpredictable as far as like this one is very consistent. This one is going to be a little bit unpredictable as far as like, our combo points that are returned to us. I say that's on my mind because that's kind of something that you think about when you run Blood Talons. You would probably like the consistency more than the unpredictability. But that's something that's kind of a negative I see with this one. But yeah, let's go ahead, and then if you can see here, these are additive effects that can be on this one. Basically, abilities reduce Berserk by, combo point abilities reduce Berserk by 0.5. Combo point generated abilities bleed targets for 125%. So this is going to be a bit of a nerf as well because, these are being nerfed slightly. Plus 10 seconds, so if we're running Incarnation, you get plus 10 seconds to this effect. Combo point generated abilities cost 20% less. Stealth during combat, which is going to give us this additional effects for Rake to be another 60% at the beginning of the pull, and then maybe once during the pull if you'd like to stealth during the pull. And then also Shred generates one additional combo point if stealthed. So I don't know if this will become a meta thing, but instead of getting that plus 60% on Rake, we could get the plus 60% on Shred and make Shred possibly give us 4 combo points. There's a total of 4 combo points that could happen. Shred, additional combo point versus Stealth, additional combo point during Berserk, and a possible crit. So that's kind of worth noting. Interesting. All right, let's go through here. New talent, Thrashing Claws. Shred deals 20% increased damage to bleeding targets, and the Shred and Swipe apply the bleed damage over time from Thrash. So this is a choice node with Merciless Claws. Let's see, Merciless Claws is right here. As far as an AoE is concerned, individuals probably have to go out of their way to grab this, but it's basically saying you no longer have to thrash, right? Your Shred is applying a thrash. Your Swipe, or was it Swipe? I believe it was Swipe. Yeah, and your Swipes are applying thrash as well. So you basically have to go out of your way to get this, but by doing so, you never have to press thrash, which is very interesting. I would not recommend this if you ever want to play Blood Talons because it just wouldn't be worth it. But it's really neat. I really like seeing that. I think that is a very unique thing, and it's good to see. Shred damage is increased by 5%. Okay, that's really nice. Thrash damage is increased by 20%. This may be my favorite change above the Berserk change. We'll go over the Berserk and a little bit of how I feel about it. But this is my favorite change probably so far. Thrash damage is increased by 20%. I love Thrash being meaningful, and it really is meaningful in bigger pulls, and it's cool, and I just like that. So that's really good to see. Relentless Predator now reduces the energy cost of Ferocious Bite by 20%. So this is back to where it was at the very beginning of the expansion, where nobody even knew where this thing was. Nobody knew its name. Nobody used it. So now it's going to reduce the energy cost back to Ferocious Bite back to 5. Okay, nobody cared when it was just reduced by 5. It is currently reducing the energy cost of Berserk by 10, and it's good. People grab it. It's really good. So they don't like that, so they're reverting back to what it was, where nobody grabbed it. Okay, let's read through here, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you kind of some of my thoughts, and we'll just see. So, Feral, Berserk. Before Embers of Neltharion, Berserk worked by restoring combo points after finishers and making Rake and Shred deal damage as though you were stealthed. This seems simple enough, and it accomplishes the goal of accelerating the rate you can cast finishers and deal damage. But under the surface, it requires a bit of cross-referencing other talents like Pouncing Strikes. Pouncing Strikes is the one that basically makes your Rake and Shred do increased damage as stealth, right? So a bit of cross-referencing other talents to figure out what's going on. And an advanced degree in feral science to determine the best abilities to use in different situations. The value of generating exactly 3 combo points with each builder can make it optimal to ignore abilities like Rake and Thrash entirely, which is unintuitive and makes Berserk rotation pretty repetitive. Okay. I think we know that I 100% agree with this. And this is something that I said when basically they kind of changed around the talents. And then I was like, hey, we're playing Lion Strength now, and it feels like we're just going to shred bite. I was not a fan of that. Now, I will say, as the YouTuber who's reading all the comments, not everybody agrees with me. Okay, so this is probably going to make a big part of the feral community a little upset because I do think they enjoy the repetitiveness, the shred bite build, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It looks like they are more towards what I agree upon, but unfortunately that will be kind of a bummer for the looks like they are trying to change that rotation. In Embers of Neltharion, Berserk is changed to this. We kind of went over that. I'll put that right here. So the new version of Berserk aims to keep the excitement of Berserk's accelerated rotation. Right. We agree. I think that the new one will have a faster, a slightly, rotation. At cost of reduced, combo point abilities. Okay. Acceleration with frequently finishing moves. Right, so that's good. That's what they want to see. I like that. That's cool. While fully rewarding you for maintaining Rake and Thrash bleeds, and generally using the same builders you're using in the rest of your rotation. Okay, so basically they want you to be doing the same rotation. They don't want you to be pressing Berserk and having a completely different rotation. The thing is, are we being rewarded for Rake and Thrash bleeds? But the new Berserk does nothing. Okay, so first of all, we're not being rewarded for Rake because actually we're getting nerfed. Rake damage is being nerfed. So I don't understand how we're being rewarded. And Thrash's bleeds damage are generally using in Thrash. So we're not being rewarded for Thrash at all unless they're referring to just Thrash being increased, which has nothing to do with Berserk. We'll just keep going on. I don't see what they're saying. Since the steady flow of combo points can make it easy to go over 5, using a finishing move now restores up to 3 of those excess combo points so they aren't wasted. If you have 4 combo points, cast a builder that crits and generate 3, then cast Ferocious Bite, you'll have 2 left over afterwards, right? Okay, cool. This update, here's where we're going to get to something that I don't agree with more. This update also allows some talents that lost a lot of power during Berserk to maintain their effectiveness, such as Blood Talons. Okay, I'm a big fan of Blood Talons. I think people know that. I currently play Blood Talons no matter what the scenario is. I just enjoy it. The thing that is anti-Blood Talons is actually faster rotations, right? You do not want to speed up your rotation because it makes it inefficient to do Blood Talons. The thing about Blood Talons, and a lot of people, I believe, that play Feral and that enjoy playing Feral, are probably playing it in a Mythic Plus environment. Feral has turned more towards a Mythic Plus character this expansion, so I would just have to imagine more people are probably enjoying it in Mythic Plus. The thing about playing Blood Talons in Mythic Plus is you have to keep in mind the talent Apex Predator's Craving, right? Now with Apex Predator's Craving, depending on the pack size, or if you're lazy like me, you just start proccing Blood Talons every single rotation. Now, the reason why you do that is you don't know if it's a big enough pack size. You could probably, it's a high likelihood that you're going to get an Apex proc, and you're going to use 2 of your Blood Talons proc in one rotation. Hence, you basically just get in the habit of proccing Blood Talons every single rotation, right? Now, if I have a very fast rotation, it starts becoming really inefficient, and it just feels bad to proc Blood Talons because I have to press 3 abilities. And if you think about those 3 abilities that I'm pressing, we'll just say Thrash plus Rake plus Shred, right? Okay. The new Blood Talons, my Thrash is going to automatically give me 2 combo points, right? Because it generates 2 combo points. Most likely, if this is a big pack, it's going to generate 3, right? And that's just because Thrash hits every single target, a higher likelihood chance to crit, okay? Rake is also going to generate 2 combo points. Let's say this one doesn't crit. Okay, let's say we shred. We wouldn't even shred. Most likely we would swipe, right? Let's swipe. Okay? Swipe, it's in the same scenario as Thrash. It's going to probably generate 3. Let's just say 2, right? So where are we at? We're at 5, 6, we're at 7 combo points. Okay? Now, if I do this relatively quickly, and if I do this in, a 1.5 seconds, it's going to take more than 1.5 seconds, right? I'm also going to generate 1 combo point from this passive generation, right? So now I'm at a total of 8, right? And that's fine because we have that effect during Berserk where it's like, hey, it's going to refund those. Okay, so cool. I'm at a total of 8 combo points. Okay. I'm going to cast my finisher. Finally, I really needed to cast my finisher here, but I wanted to get my combo. I wanted to get my my Blood Talons proc, right? But in this rotation, I'm not being really hindered at all because there's this storage system that's happening, right? But what happens the next rotation? Well, the next rotation, 3 of these are coming back. So I automatically have 3, but I want to proc Blood Talons again. We're in Algathar Academy, and I want to proc Blood Talons on every single rotation because I'm getting a ton of Apex procs, right? So now, let's do it again. Let's Thrash. Let's say it's 3. Let's do a Rake. Oh, and a Rake does 2. And let's do a Swipe again. Okay, we'll say Swipe again does 2. We'll say we get a passive. This is a passive. We'll put another passive in there, plus 1. Okay, what are we at? So we're at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're at 11 combo points. Okay? Which basically means we were supposed to Primal Wrath here. Right? So it's like, ugh. I mean, I guess what we do, probably the best thing would be to do is to do this first rotation, Primal Wrath, your second rotation, Bite, and then your third rotation would be this. How many combo points am I at? So this is 6. Equals 6, which means I'm refunded 1. So now I'm at 3, 4, 5, plus 1, so I'm at 6 again. So Primal. Okay, so let's see, let's write this out. Primal, Bite, Primal. Do I like that? Huh, okay, that's interesting. We may be okay. Basically, the issue I'm trying to get at, you guys, is speeding up the rotation too quickly. It's not beneficial, right? If the rotation, if it ends up being something like this, where I can consistently get that 3 back, then I'm just going to be like, hey, proc Blood Talons. After that one, I'm probably just going to do rotation and Bite, and then proc Blood Talons again. That's not a bad rotation. Pretty simple. I think, and then this would be, somewhat rotationally, except it's not completely rotationally because this is not the same as this. it will need to be tested. It will need to be tested. Probably a little bit difficult because again, this 8, there's no way of me tracking this 8 because it's excess. Beyond 5, I can't track it. You know, so how am I to know that the next rotation should just be a plain one with bite? I mean, I guess I'll see the combo points, but I mean, you're trying to think quick, you know, and it's just like, oh man, I got refunded 3, and then I got to change my whole play style because I got refunded 3, and just immediately think, oh, okay, this is what I needed to do. So yeah, I'm actually just kind of talking myself out of it. It does seem like it'll be a fun rotation, but yeah, it's going to make optimizing Feral really hard, and like you're going to have to think like really quickly. Yeah, let's continue on. I think I explained my thoughts enough, and that's fine. So this update will allow some talents that lost a lot of power during Berserk to maintain their effectiveness, such as Blood Talons. Under debate still. Sudden Ambush and Lunar Inspiration. What the hell? I don't see how Lunar Inspiration is stronger at all. Okay. I don't understand that one. Berserk still increases Shred and Rake's damage to retain some of Berserk's particular effectiveness against single targets. Okay. Tuning. This is a big change, and we'll be keeping an eye on tuning to retain Feral's current power and specialties. Since Shred is losing some damage in Berserk, we're increasing its damage overall to give back some of the power without changing Shred's role in your rotation. To make maintaining Thrash more worthwhile in both Feral's single target and AoE rotations, we are increasing the damage of its initial hit and its bleed. Oh, this is interesting. The way yeah, okay, I guess it makes sense. The way Feral's Thrash happens is its initial hit is just one actual application of a tick of its bleed, but it's like, yeah, if you're going to be increasing Thrash's damage by 20%, that first tick is going to be increased as well. So I don't know if that's what they're saying, or if they're going to make it kind of like a Bear Thrash, where Bear's Thrash actually does like an upfront damage, I believe. It's been a while since I played Guardian. I believe Bear's Thrash does an upfront damage, and then it starts ticking. And we may see something like that. That's interesting. I'm not sure. Or they're just talking about, hey, it's increased, so that upfront tick is going to be higher. We're keeping an eye on Berserk's power overall so that too much of your damage isn't focused in your Berserk window. For instance, in 10.7, we changed Berserk Frenzy to shift some power out of your Berserk window. In Embers of Neltharin, we're reducing the effectiveness of Relentless Predator. This is the energy portion, as it provided more energy than we like while within Berserk specifically. Okay. So I mean, I see that. They are... I don't know if this is going to... We're keeping an eye on Berserk's overall power so that too much of your damage isn't focused in your Berserk window. I think this is going to slightly increase our rotation. So I think it's actually going to slightly increase the damage that we're able to do during Berserk. So I'm not really sure of that. We're getting reduced damage from our Shred and our Rakes. And then, so these are also going to be reducing the bleed portion, but it may be made up for it by just cruising through rotation faster and biting more often. But bite is being nerfed, so maybe it does end up equaling itself out, because we are starving, or we are going to hold a little bit longer for our bite, since it's going to be 10 more energy, basically, because we're never going to be taking this talent at all. So basically, we're going back to a 50 energy bite. So I see. So now I see what they're saying, and yeah, maybe it ends up being about equal. Okay. Thrashing Claws. One of the things we're always looking for opportunities to do is give players tools to play less complicated versions of classes they love. With 3 dots to maintain, Feral can be a intimidating class. The new Thrashing I'm so sorry. The new Thrashing Claws talent causes your normal single target and multi-target attacks to also apply the bleed from Thrash, meaning you don't have to press Thrash at all. It may not be for everyone, but we hope you'll tell us what you think if you try it out. Oh, and one more thing. Feral Druids are one of the several classes that are getting updated resource visuals in Embers of Neltharion. Check out these new combo points. Okay, so those are my thoughts. I'm sure you guys probably have some thoughts as well. Maybe I overlooked something, or maybe you have something else that thought about that I didn't touch on. Leave it in the comments below. Tell me what you think about these, if you think this is a great change or not. For me, it looks really wonderful. It's good. I like to see feral changes that are good. I do kind of question how this, basically down here, how this new thing is going to be affecting Blood Talons, but more specifically Blood Talons in a Mythic Plus environment. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good. I think from what my ideas are, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for those individuals that want to play it at a very competitive level. It's going to be very unpredictable. Whereas for me, I'm probably just going to do a primal and then bite and then primal and then bite. But that might not be the best way to do it, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching the video. Yeah, that's it. Peace out. Bye.